Bruh. I know I've got no rhythm. I don't care. Don't care at all. Good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope y'all are having a great day. I am having a freaking fantastic hump day because I'm getting over the hump today. Today marks a major step for me and my wife personally. After I remember the first time we came here, and I know this is not what you're here for, but damn it, you're gonna hear it this morning, okay? I remember the first time I brought my beautiful bride into this place. Now, keep in mind, there's still a lot of work to do. There's still a lot of work to do. When I showed it to her and was telling her my visions, she's looking like, I know you take messes, you turn them into something good. But it was like, bro. She knew we could do it, but knowing that we could do it and actually doing it. We spent our first night here sleeping. Be it we went to bed about 1:45 in the morning and we were up at 7, but we actually spent the night here. And it was so peaceful. If the place is haunted, they go to bed at midnight too. They sleep through the night. They sleep through the night. And so even this morning, coffee made here at the Red Brick House. So I'm ecstatic. All right, so the work, a lot of people think, oh, well, the Cowboys have made the cuts. Work is over. No, it's not. Now it's about guys getting through waivers and getting signed on teams for your practice squad. Because basically, here's the thing that's changed. It used to be when a person went on IR, it was season ending. Now, you kind of use IR as a way to hide players. And of course, they expanded the practice squad from 5 guys to 15 guys because of COVID. And in essence, they actually kind of did one of the things that I said that they should do years ago, because again, it used to be the 53-man roster and then 5 practice squad guys, in essence 62 guys. But now you're actually looking at the roster growing because of the practice squad, which gives more opportunities for more guys. I mean, now you think about the injured reserve where you can put the players on and it's, for the 6 weeks and things. So in essence, they have actually grown the amount of players that are out there, which is great because there's a lot of guys that their dreams have ended or at least have been put up to the sidelines, being cut yesterday. Well, so much for Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy thinking that we would end up re-signing Will Grear. And the thing about Will Grear, here's the thing with Will Grear. Will Grear, it was emotional. Last game, you love seeing Dak Prescott calling the plays, Will Grear having 2 touchdown passes and 2 rushing touchdowns. He ended up signing, who did he end up signing with? Oh man, I forgot. Dagnabbit. He signed with somebody today already to the practice squad. Bengals. Signed with the Bengals on their practice squad. And what's funny is reading some of the comments with some of the people out there who will say things. He's a bum-ass quarterback, man. He's a 3rd stringer. You sitting there talking about a bum. But here's the thing that's kind of interesting. Here's where you have to understand. Sometimes people change. Last year after week 1 when Dak Prescott got injured, most people were calling for Will Greer to be the starter because they said he can run more than Cooper Rush. And everybody was like, oh man, no, it must be Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush had been like with the Giants and with us, and he hadn't really shown much at all. till he got his opportunity. Now, you got Skip Bayless basically calling for Cooper Rush to be the starter of the Dallas Cowboys. Although, Skip is kind of whack. It is kind of funny that Skip Bayless can't get a word in edgewise on his own show. Actually, that's perfect. That's perfect. He's not able to dominate those guys. He'll go, oh, wait a minute. Keep on me. Hold up, Skip. It's not skip. It's not skip. No, it's like, hold on, Skip. Here's why you're an idiot and you're wrong. That's what the show's turned into. My wife was like, this is a good show now. Yeah, everybody, you got to look and say, yeah, maybe Stephen A. Smith is kind of scared over there because, like, hey, they got all the power over there while we're getting rid of everybody. But be that as it may. Shout out to Will Grear. Best of luck to you and everything else. You never know what you don't know what you don't know. We ended up having Ben DiNucci, who, we were like, that dog can't hunt. Well, Kellen Moore didn't do any favors, but that's another story. He ends up doing really well in the USFL or XFL, and there's so many damn ones, and ends up getting another gig. So you never know what you don't know. And you could look at a guy like Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner, bro, Hall of Famer. Yeah, he was a backup that nobody gave a rat's ass about. So you just never know. Now, here's the thing that's interesting to me. I've said this many, many times, and I know I'm the village idiot, and until somebody on television says it, or one of the talking heads out there, or one of the journalists that went to school for journalists say it doesn't get traction. But I'm going to say that Mike McCarthy has tried to recreate the 2010 Green Bay Packers. Just has. When you think about the Packers that won that Super Bowl, I think they were 10-6, but they were a great team. Aaron Rodgers actually wasn't the bad man that had to throw 40 touchdown passes. I want to say he only threw 29 in that year. But they were loaded at wide receiver. They had guys like, Donald Driver. They had like Greg Jennings. They had, I can't remember, their other great was a white guy, wide receiver. But they were deep at wide receiver. They used 3 tight ends. They had a fullback in John Kuhn who blocked lights out and played some H-back. They didn't have a lead back. In fact, their leading running back only had like 750 yards rushing. They did running by committee. They weren't the best offense in football. I think they were ranked, scoring offense. I think they were like 9th. But they were a good team all the way around that had a great defense. They were number 3 in defense. And as you look at this Dallas Cowboys, I don't know yet if we have great tight ends, but we definitely have a rotation of guys. You look at Jake Ferguson, if you listen to Dak Prescott, and I do, he believes that he's ready to take that next step to be, maybe not George Kittle or Kelsick or anything like that yet, but he's going to be hopefully better than what we had with, Dalton Schultz. And I believe as a starter, with the extra size and weight that he's put on and seeming to have a bit of an attitude, that's going to be the case. You've got a young guy in Schoonmaker. You've got, of course, Peyton Hendershot, who was a little maligned in preseason and early on and things, but seems like he's going to be there. Because the thing about that offense, and even if you look at preseason is not really a window in the soul, but if we look at what they worked on, and when you think of the personnel we have, the Dallas Cowboys are fast as hell. They are so much quicker than what they were. Unfortunately, last year, we were not you would think we were the geriatric team, but we weren't. Michael Gallup, because of the injury, was not the same guy. He was just a warm body, basically, out there. I don't, no disrespect, Michael. We all know you weren't ready to play the season. Noah Brown, bless his heart, did the best he could. And he would be a great 5th wide receiver. But because we did not have guys, He's thrust into the limelight. Those guys could not get downfield and get separation. Everybody wants to talk about Dak throwing interceptions, but if Dak basically said, these guys ain't open and throws it away, you're going to say, well, Dak is scared to throw the football. No matter what he does, it's going to be criticized. Because I've heard him say, when Brett Favre threw 29 interceptions, he's a gunslinger. He's a gunslinger. He's going to throw some interceptions, but it's okay because he's going to throw some touchdown passes too. It was cool when Brett Favre did it. Gunslinger, right? Cowboys leading the league in points with Dak Prescott at quarterback. Oh, he's throwing interceptions. But they're scoring a whole lot of points. They're going 12-5 back-to-back. So if you take just that guy from last year, I mean, let's just say hypothetically, even if he's only at the level he was last year, you have to say he's got better personnel around him. He does. He's got better receivers. Brandon Cooks, you can't compare that to Noah Brown. Michael Gallup to Michael Gallup last year, you can't compare that. And now you look at it and say, Jalen Tolbert has shown some flashes at the number 4. It's like, number 4? Who's like number 4? We can't get past the first 2 wide receivers last year. What are you talking about? Our number 4 wide receiver. Yeah, we can talk about our number 4 wide receiver might have been as good as our number 2 last year. So you look at that and say, Dak's going to have some guys that maybe will get more separation. That maybe he won't have to lead the league in tight window throws because his guys couldn't get open. So maybe that translates into less interceptions. I will also say that Dak Prescott looks to be healthier than where he was. I know he had already been a year removed from the ankle thing, but I'm telling you, it was still healed. You could still see him not running quite right. I don't know how much lingering effects he'll have to deal with for the rest of his life, but right now, he looks better starting right now than he did last year. And I look at it at the moment, I'm still worried about the depth on the offensive line. But last year, this time, we had a rookie that was going to be playing tackle because Tyron Smith was already gone. And this rookie had been practicing at guard. So Tyron Smith being there, the other problem was we never really had a guard. We had Connor McGovern. We ended up kind of, playing games. We had Jason Peters there. We just literally had no left guard. Now you got a guy who's played left tackle that's a young stud at left guard. If Tyron Smith can stay healthy, the left side of that ball is going to be hell. It's going to be hell. You look at the right side. You got now a happy offensive line. You got Terrence Steele, who is coming back from the ACL, but they're working on a contract where he's going to feel like he's part of the family. You've got a right side that's good, and you've got a center coming off of a Pro Bowl year. So if that group can stay together and stay healthy, this offense is ready to go a lot better. And so you look at this and say, yeah, I see a lot of similarities between the Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers that won the Super Bowl. We will definitely be using Hunter Lipke as a H-back, as a fullback. We'll be using 2 tight end sets. We're going to be using bootlegs and play action. We're going to be fast and we're going to be physical. Other breaking news this morning, Jonathan Taylor. Apparently, Howie Roseman failed. Howie Vision didn't work. Jonathan Taylor, they did not get the compensation that they were looking for with the Colts. So they decided to pull the plug on that. And he's going to stay on the inactive list. Yeah. Unfortunately, he's looking for money that is no longer there for running backs. This whole running back situation is just sad. I don't understand how it's turned like this, where there's so much money flying to so many positions that running backs are kind of like, bro, get in line behind the kicker. So let's go to Get Up this morning and see what garbage they got to say today about the Cowboys. This is so cool to wake up and literally have my studio and my coffee right here. I don't have to go to 7-Eleven this morning. So let's see what bad thing that the Dallas Cowboys did this time, because we know everything the Cowboys do is going to be bad and blow up in their face, according to these guys.
Here Wednesday, and delighted you are here. Hear me now. Resplendent in orange is Kmart ready to go with big news out of Indianapolis that candidly, look, they don't have a nose, but at least they've smited their face. Harry Douglas is up with us early this morning, and Dan Orlovsky is ready to roll. We've got quarterbacks to talk about, and it starts with Trey Lance. The trade from last Friday still reverberating all through the NFL after his disappointing tenure in San Francisco. Lance now part of a quarterback room that is led by Dak Prescott. And upon his arrival in Big D, here's what Trey had to say about his new team.
He welcomed me with open arms. This morning was the first time I ran into him. But yeah, I mean, that meant a lot to me. I know this business is crazy. But for me, like I said, I'm not looking forward at all. I'm just really trying to take it one day at a time. And this guy's obviously played at a very high level for a very long time. So nothing but, obviously just tons of respect for him. I really tried to not, expect anything one way or another. But I can't say that when I heard Cowboys, I had a big smile on my face. I was very excited to be here.
All right, so that's where Trey Lance finds himself this morning, and this is where we find ourselves beginning Get Up today. Dan, you and I talked about this on Monday. A lot has happened since then. Where do we stand right now? Trey Lance says the right things. Dak seems to be handling it well. What's the big point here for you right this minute?
The big point is this was the right move by the Dallas Cowboys to acquire a player that last year at this time was the starting quarterback of a team that went to the NFC title game. But the process they went about going to do it was absolutely incorrect. And now what they've done is, let's go back, Grear, to last year, okay? And everyone knows this was the worst year of Dak Prescott's career. Okay, he missed 5 games. Just to put it into context, he threw 6 multi-interception games last year. He had 6 of them. Okay? 3 of those games were lost by a single score, and that includes their playoff loss. So there is pressure in the moment on Dak Prescott to go
wide receiver fall down on that one, right?
In a race last year. And bringing in a guy who was a starting quarterback at this point last year, and the number 3 pick in the NFL draft 3 years ago, and not notifying that quarterback only puts more light onto the situation. I don't think Dak Prescott needed this move to go and try and play his best football, but it certainly elevates the moment for him in this year.
Harry, how big a deal is all this to you?
Well, I think it's a big deal because when you look at Jerry Jones not notifying the head coach, that's what makes it a big deal. Now, if he notifies the head coach and lets him know that, hey, we're going to bring in Trey Lance, now that head coach can talk to Dak Prescott and let Dak Prescott know what's going on. I think when you look at Jerry Jones, and I think the writing is basically on the wall, when you look at where he is with Mike McCarthy and not letting him know moving forward, and you have Dan Quinn as a defensive coordinator just sitting there waiting in the wings for an opportunity, I think we all know where Mike McCarthy's staying, and that's, on the hot seat. So he has to win this season. Now, as far as Dak Prescott, this is how I feel about this situation. My father told me this a long time ago. You don't ever worry about another man and what they got going on. You handle your business, and when you believe in what you are capable of doing, if you go out there and play the ball that you're supposed to play, everything else will take care of itself. Now, I do believe that when you look at a guy like Trey Lance, Dak Prescott shouldn't be worried about Trey Lance coming in. This is a guy that couldn't beat out Brock Purdy. Right. He couldn't beat out Sam Darnold, and he couldn't beat out Brandon Allen. So why in the hell would Dak Prescott be sitting over there with the Dallas Cowboys worried about this move that Jerry Jones made?
So there's a lot of different ways to slice that up. I'll give it back to Orlovsky and that face in a minute. But I've cleared the decks for Kmart, who we've not had here all week. And if I know you've been talking to everyone around the league as they've been reacting to this, what sorts of things have you been hearing?
Well, mostly surprise, obviously. Mostly people, though, were giving credit to Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch for actually saying, you know what, we made a mistake, let's move on. Because a lot of times you see in the NFL, people just are afraid to say, yeah, we messed up there. I will say though, with the Jerry aspect, here's the thing: Jerry's gonna do what he's gonna do. People around the league know that. Like, if you don't know that you're the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, and Jerry Jones,
I've had enough. I've had enough. Okay, so let me see if I get this straight. The Dallas Cowboys getting him with a 4th-round pick, who they say is not a threat to Dak Prescott, is wrong. But the team that ended up sending not 1, not 2, 3 number 1s and a 3rd-round pick to draft him, only to let him go after 2 seasons, they get praised? Am I the crazy one here? Am I the crazy one? The team that ended up drafting him and sending 3 number 1. To put that, let me put this in perspective. Imagine, if you will, if the Cowboys ended up taking Mozzie Smith, Micah Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb, and Golston, and drafted. We just give those 4 guys away for a guy who can't play, who can't start. That's what we're talking about here. That's what San Francisco literally gave up. Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Smith, and Golston. That's how much they gave up to take a chance on getting Trey Lance, and they gave up on him after 2 seasons, and they get praised. This is like when people, and here's the argument for everybody too. When they say Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins are the same guy, just say, see last year's game that was 40-3, where Kirk Cousins had 110 yards passing, having Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook on the roster along with Adam Thielen. When Dak Prescott had CD, Noah Brown, and Michael Gallup just coming back from injury. Actually, no. Yeah. Take a look at that. All right. Peace.